All right, cross your fingers that all the factors stacked against us. Censorship on YouTube, a 2-year-old, a crying baby, and all other things happening right now in the country that hopefully they will stave off and let us talk to Kristi Leigh here, who is hot off a suspension, or you're still suspended. You're still
I think I
suspended.
just got off suspension. I haven't tried using it yet. And I mean, that's the
Okay.
thing about this, Allison, is that every time that you get a strike, then you turn into like self-censorship mode because like, oh gosh,
Yeah.
like what can I post? Like, should I give it a minute? Like so it's not even them actively censoring us, but just the fear
Yeah.
works as a tool for us to self-censor as well.
hmm No, and it's totally true. I think we talked about this sort of off screen that they're catching on to what some people have tried to do, which is talk sort of briefly at the beginning of a YouTube live and then say, "Hey, let's talk somewhere else," because now they don't want you to even do that to promote where you can talk about it on other sites. So we're not going to do that. We're not trying to evade censorship. We just, you know what? We like it better over on Rumble. We like it better on ROKFIN, and we just happen to have some extra time after this YouTube stream. So we're probably going to talk a little bit more about Kari Lake's lawsuit and elections and whatnot on the other platforms. Again, not to evade censorship or try to screw YouTube or anything like that, just because we like it over there better. That's prettier. I like the colors of the Rumble logo better. It's green versus red. It's just more calming for the new year. So that's why we're going to do it. But this is the interview that you did, which is still up on Rumble and people can go watch it. Good on you for getting Kari Lake, by the way, and having her on. She's suing.
And already we're having the
Oh my
internet
goodness. All right, I'm
difficulties.
back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I know. I should have warned people.
It probably is YouTube.
My internet sucks, everybody. Just FYI. Kristi, are you frozen or am I frozen? I'm
No,
frozen again.
you're not frozen
Am I
anymore.
frozen again?
No.
No.
You're good. You're good. I see you. Can you hear me? Allison? Okay. So basically, she told me to take over when the times that she phrases is. So that's what I'm going to do. Basically, I interviewed gubernatorial candidate for Arizona, Kari Lake, and she was talking about a historic lawsuit. Are you back? Okay,
I'm
great.
back. So keep talking. Keep
This is going to
talking.
be fun, like a fun hop around show. Okay.
I don't even know how I'm still doing this. I can't believe I haven't gone into like just becoming doing groceries for a living or something. Just going and running and getting people's
Right. So obviously experiencing
go ahead,
what
Kristi.
obviously experiencing what all of us
Go.
independents do, all of the technical issues and everything else that come along with being independent journalist and having little to no staff. So I'm sorry you're dealing with that right now, Allison. Hopefully your internet company can figure it out. But I was just saying that I interviewed her about this historic lawsuit and they removed it and I contested it because it looks like Allison might be logging off and coming right back on. So I'm just going to continue to talk. So this is something in history that is happening, and she can't even document that her appeals are going on or that this lawsuit even exists because this platform in particular that we're on right now finds a reason that this is against one of their rules. So it blows my mind that such a large platform can censor to the degree that they're trying to basically modify history. Like this is a huge deal. Are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. I'm
Okay,
back for
cool.
now. Go to HellisonWinePromo.com. Get that in right now. Well, actually, I do need to do my ad reads, but I do have a question for you. So think on this one.
Okay.
What do you think about, as stuff like this is going down? I obviously have seen Kari Lake dragged through the mud by our old industry, the corporate news, right? And she's a former corporate news anchor.
And that's
You're a
why I
former.
hate her so much because she's ruining this thing that anybody that says that there's a problem with traditional media is a conspiracy crazy person. Well, no, here's a woman that was at a top rated station and has won awards and was well liked by her community. And she's exposing the truth and they cannot have that. And they hate her for it.
Yeah, so I want to ask you about that. Well, I mean, you try to answered it pretty well, but I'm curious if you think what you think, I guess, about journalists watching all this go down, where you can't ask her about her lawsuit, and if you think most the reaction to that stuff, it seems like silence, like they don't care. Like maybe they think it's a good thing that people like you can't interview Kari Lake, like that she shouldn't be able to make those claims. I'm just curious what you think sort of the general consensus is. I don't hear a lot of concern that over and over there are situations like hers where maybe you do totally think she's a complete lunatic. Maybe you do, maybe you agree with everything she's saying. But for like the journalist perspective, I get the sense that we're still kind of in this era of thinking that if you talk to someone like her, you're endorsing what she's saying, which for me was so odd as a journalist. It's like, no, you're just trying to understand where she's coming from and see if there's any legitimacy to what she's saying. That to me was always journalism, right?
Well, I
So,
mean, and journalism is supposed to be getting all viewpoints, and it's supposed to be being a voice for the voiceless. I mean, there are things that are still on the Society of Professional Journalists Code of Ethics that are completely not only being ignored, but are also being like practically erased, because then you have other places like George Soros funded Poynter Institute, which is saying the opposite of what is still on the Society of Professional Journalists Code of Ethics. Things like being a voice for the voiceless or holding those in power accountable. And we're not seeing that in journalism anymore. And when you are prohibiting us even being able to interview people about particular topics, then you're not being a voice for the voiceless. You're actually cheering on and condoning that someone be silenced. And so it's completely opposite of what a tenet of journalism is supposed to be.
mhm. Yeah, no, I mean, it's a crazy time to try to understand what's going on, and people should have the ability to hear out what her lawsuit says. I think it in fact gets people, which makes me then wonder. I think it gets people what they say they don't want, which is um paranoia
Yes.
and anger, and so it's like, okay, well, if you know that actually, I think that inflames it when you silence people. Maybe you want that. Maybe you want people to be paranoid. Maybe you like people to be angry and you like to fan the flames. I don't know. I mean, I just wonder that sometimes. It doesn't, in my opinion, result in releasing the valve, and letting people hear things and discuss them and then come to a conclusion. It just makes people angry. And then I go, well, okay, if they know that it makes people angry, why do they keep doing it? Because they say they don't want
And
that. They say,
maybe
oh,
they do,
extremism and
because
anger.
they want to promote this idea that anybody that doesn't go along with the narrative is an extremist. So it actually,
Right.
perhaps does benefit them to make us angry and to make us act enraged, because that is what they're painting us on. But it doesn't take a genius to realize that if you are prohibiting people from going and having discussions, that they're going to find places where they can have those prohibited discussions, and it is going to make people more extreme. They're going to have to seek out the deep dark corners of the internet. I mean, we saw that that's how, whether you want to believe some of the QAnon stuff or whatever or not, we saw that that's how that was generated, because people were going to different platforms, like darker platforms like 8chan, to discuss these things and speculate. And these are all things that if we were just able to do in the today's public square as it was designed, that they probably wouldn't go so deep as far as the speculations and the paranoia and things like that. But all you can figure is that they want us in that state, because they've wanted to drive us into a civil war. They've wanted us to look like kooks and extremists. And so there you go.
And we have a
The little,
2-year-old in the
the little
studio. 2-year-old in the
2-year-old
studio.
producer wants to weigh in on this topic.
Thank God for tape. Tape is amazing. If you need to keep your kid distracted for a few minutes, hand them some tape. Okay, she's got some tape, so let's let's read this real fast and let's go finish the conversation elsewhere. AllisonWinePromo.com is where you can support my work wherever you're watching. You get 50% off my favorite Malbecs and 50% off shipping. These are extremist wines because they're from extreme altitude. So I always say, if you want to be an extremist, if you aren't an extremist, you haven't been called an extremist yet, you are doing nothing with your life. Start by going and getting some extremist altitude wine. It makes all kinds of things seem just a little bit better when you can sit back, sip a great glass of Malbec, watch Kristi's video on platforms, not YouTube, other platforms like Rumble, and just say like, okay, if wine like this exists, there is still hope for the world. Also, you could go to twinenginecoffee.com/Allison, twinenginecoffee.com/Allison, get some USDA certified organic coffee. There's a dark roast, there's medium roast, there's light roast. I actually am a big fan also of the tea. If you like
If you like tea, just anytime you freeze, I'll try and finish your sentence.
And that's why I need to have people read my ads for me. I'm just going to make sure, I'm going to tell you guys ahead of time. Hey, this is what you should say if I get booted out of my extremist altitude ad reads. Okay. Thank you everybody for watching on YouTube. We're going to continue elsewhere. See you over there.